right. Hello and welcome everyone to All Things Blockchain AMA series, where we are doing an online series bringing you a whole bunch of educational topics. And today we are going to be talking about AI agents and how SKOR Metaverse is using them inside their platform. We're going to kind of talk a little bit about where we think the future of AI agents are going. But before we jump into the AMA today, I just want to go through a few upcoming events and a few acknowledgements. So I always like to give a big acknowledgement and thank you to our sponsors. These events wouldn't be here. So if you're interested in learning any more about them, you can go to our website and you can see what events they are going to be hosting throughout the year. But I always like to give them a big thank you, and also a big thank you to my team. We are a nonprofit association and it's been going since November 2020. A lot of efforts off of volunteers. So I also just like to acknowledge them because they deserve to be acknowledged. We also like to collaborate. So if there's anybody that's on this call or watching this recording, if you are another community, we would love to work with you. These are some of the other communities that we work with in the space. And if you want to learn more about them, just go ahead to our website and go to allthingsblockchain.org and you can learn more about our collaboration partners. Now we have some upcoming events. So the next one is an AMA with Block Chat, okay, and talking about self-custody community building. And that's actually going to be with Matt, my partner in crime, who is the other ATB profile on here. He'll be leading that chat. That's 2 weeks from now. So put that one into your calendar. And then March, our monthly ATB meetup for all of you that come to our regular meetups. March, we always kind of align with International Women's Day. So this is our International Women's Day theme, and that will be held at the precinct, but it will also be a hybrid event. We have the monthly community newsletter. So we started this. So if you want to get updates on not just all about all the events that are in Australia, but also globally, like big conferences that are happening like Consensus and ETH Denver, we list them all in there for you. And then we also include the recordings of the previous AMAs or the previous in real life events. We put that all in there for you. So you can join the community hub and then you'll get that once a month so that you can kind of get caught up if you missed any events or know what events are happening near you, both online and in real life. So it's a really valuable tool. Go ahead, join the community and also connect with us on socials. We're trying really hard to grow online. We were born and bred in Brisbane and we have over 3,000 members in our community, but we're trying to take it more online and do more of these online events. So the more support that we get from the community, the more that helps us. So please follow us on your favorite social platform. We would be greatly appreciated. So we are going to jump into it without further ado. Sanjay is the CEO of SKOR Metaverse. I'm going to let him give a proper introduction of himself and his background, but I also know that he has some of his teams.
So I've got Ranjit, who's head of esports. He's on the call today. He's going to make the demo along with Sohail, who's going to be assisting him on the demo, and Ragarad, who would be with me on the questions to give maybe a different perspective.
Perfect. Beautiful. Right. Just because we are going to be talking about AI agents and then specifically on how SKOR Metaverse is using them on their platform. But I know that AI agents are a super hot topic. I myself have been looking at how I implement AI agents in my personal life and my business. So my first question to you, Sanjay, before we get into a little bit more about yourself and SKOR is, what are your predictions for how long it's going to take for like most people in businesses to be using like AI agents in like their everyday life? Like, what's your prediction just based on what you've seen?
I mean, it's hard to give a timeline to it, but what I would say is that businesses are going to be the first adopters to it, because what we're talking about is efficiency and bottom line. So, and whatever you do, whatever sphere you're in, it's a competitive world. And today, although I'm going to be talking a bit about AI agents in gaming, and I'll also try to keep it a bit more general. But as a company ourselves, an early stage company, we're already building agents for our growth part of the business. So from that perspective, and for us, it's really easy because we're kind of like building from scratch. We essentially have a wish list. I say to my team, what is it that you can do or you can't do? What do you need to do? How do you see it? Give me your wishes. let's create it. That's what we're doing. And then when you talk about larger organizations, maybe more established ones, they will have a challenge with the resistance from humans because
Mhm.
there is going to be job displacement. So it depends how agile the organization is, how the actual organization, how fast they want to move. But it's changing a lot of things. I mean, SEO is no longer what it used to be. So if you look at Google today, the searches come out differently, maybe from last year. They're more AI orientated, not giving you 20 different options. Now they're trying to give you a blurb with what, where to go and maybe some links like that. Changing really, really fast. And I'm currently based in India. So with the largest population in the world, maybe it's going to be a little bit slower because it's still relatively cheap to employ people. And then when
Mhm.
you go to the US, where the salaries are and very high
Mhm.
compared to India, and also they're very innovative. They adapt very well to technology. So it's going to be different across various sectors and also geographically as well.
Yeah, I could definitely see that because I've been exploring, and we'll have to have probably a whole nother AMA for this because this is not today's call is not about that. But I've been exploring to learn how to use AI agents in my business. And for somebody that doesn't come from a technical background or have developers or a technical team, it's still quite, even though it's still quite technical in terms of all the integrations and the connecting and all the things. So I think when it becomes a little bit easier, kind of like with Web3, like the easier Web3 becomes, and when we eliminate those barriers to entries of like private keys and all those, that sort of things, then it becomes easier for people to adopt and use it. I think the same thing will happen with AI agents, but the people that are actually taking the time to learn and implement them, somebody like myself, I can't afford Western wages, but I can afford to set up the AI agents to do to do the work for me. So yeah, I was just interested to get your perspective because I know a lot of people that have joined the call today is because they're all curious about AI and these AI agents and how they're working. Now, before we go into the demo, I want you just to give the audience a bit of a background just on yourself. How did you start off in crypto in the Web3 space? And then how did that lead you into doing AI-driven experiences with your role at SKOR today?
Great, I will do that indeed. I've been in the apparel or garments industry, clothing industry, depending on where you come from, how you use the term, for the longest time, about 20 years. And then I sold my company in 2017. And in 2018, I got into blockchain cryptocurrency more as an investment. Really interesting space as an investor. But I was not running a business and investing are two different things. So I found investing so boring that I wanted to get back into a day-to-day grind of having a business. So I was looking at all the areas and caught my attention was virtual reality. And my son had just passed out of college at the time, around about 2020 now. And he was just saying that there's no interaction in gaming. This is the future, virtual reality. And he's a hardcore gamer. So he kind of like got me into this industry from a gaming perspective. So that's how I got into the gaming side of things. And then AI is the next evolution, and we're targeting it specifically for gaming.
Yeah, it's always interesting to hear how people kind of got in, whether it's money or gaming, or they got in. I've heard of so many artists that get in because they're artists and then they hear about NFTs,
Yeah.
so it's always so interesting to kind of hear about how people got here today. Also, before we jump in and show your quick little demo and then jump in and talk about how you guys are using the AI agents in the SKOR Metaverse, they're becoming more and more sophisticated, day by day. So how do you see them transforming the way that we interact with the digital environments, like over the next 5 years? Like, can you give some examples, like maybe give an example or two in gaming and then kind of just in general life, how you think these agents are going to be used for people?
In gaming, if you talk about virtual worlds, and then if you compare a virtual world to, let's say, a theme park, right? So in a theme park, you've got statues. And then if you go to Disneyland, you've got Mickey Mouse walking around. So that's what an NPC is like, a statue. And then you've got a real life character, Mickey Mouse, walking around that can interact with you. And that's essentially what you can say would be the difference between an intelligent NPC and the standalone character. So there's a lot more interactions within virtual worlds in the environment around you. So you have to think of because the agents are online. So if you're looking at productivity, let's say, which is going back to your business, is going to be helping you from a productivity point of view, from a very personalized individualistic point.
All right, because yeah, I've been thinking, remember when you said the wish list? I literally said that the other day. I was like, okay, if I could have it work the way that I wanted it, this is what I would want it to do. Let's see if we can make that, like if we can do that.
Have
So
to
just
make it happen. That's
yeah,
the
yeah. So just playing with the different use cases that it can, I was like, imagine if it could do this. And then we're like, oh, let's see if we can make it. And so like we're all learning together. It's interesting on how it's going to take a role. All right. Well, let's jump straight into your demo and then we'll bring it back to AMA and then any questions that people have. So
Hi guys, welcome to our live streaming demo where we are showcasing the future of interactive gaming. In the first scene, we invite you to explore our customizable avatars feature. Here, gamers can personalize their virtual identities. Next, we arrive at the spawning point, a bustling hangout bar where gamers gather to socialize, strategize, and prepare for epic battles. Here, you'll witness the vibrant energy of our community. As players interact, they form alliances and line up for exhilarating player versus player competitions. With our intuitive interface and seamless communication tools, the spawning point serves as the heart of our gaming universe. Now, let's experience the next level of immersive gaming with our AI commentary feature. So, as you enter the arena, you'll be greeted by our virtual commentators powered by cutting edge artificial intelligence technology. So what these AI commentators do is basically they provide real-time analysis, insights, and commentary, enhancing the excitement and engagement of every match. So at the pinnacle of competitive gaming excellence, we showcase you our state-of-the-art low latency streaming technology, delivering an unparalleled viewing experience across 6 large screens. As you can see, our platform offers dynamic brand placement opportunities within the arena environment, allowing brands to engage with audience in more real time and create memorable experiences. So, by integrating brand placements within the arena environment, we are solving a very critical problem for brands in traditional advertising. Rather than just being limited to the ad breaks that you see between the matches, brands can now access audience in more immersive and impactful way. So before we end our demo, I'd like to show you the most exciting low latency feature of the platform. As you can see, this is the live stream that is running on YouTube right now, and the exact live stream is running on our platform with the lowest latency that is possible over there. To start the live stream on our platform, we only need a live link from the user. So yes, this is Core 3D live streaming platform. So now we'll show you the video of our Score AI agents. So basically, what our Score AI agents is does is it's your personalized AI agent for your all your gaming needs. It can help you with all your cross-sell placements or whatever you're facing issues related to the so it teaches you how to become from an amateur to a pro player, right? And it's gonna help you in every aspect.
mm,
So yes, we are not building this only agent. This is our first agent, which is totally towards the gaming. So our second AI agent will be coming soon. So we'll be presenting more and more AI agents to the community, right, for different things. So agent precision is will be live now in let's say a few weeks. We are now still at our closed beta test, so that will be completed by this end of this week. So yes, please do check out our website also. And if you're a gamer, I think it's useful for you. So yeah.
Well, and you said there actually, Sanjay, that'll probably take me into my first question for you. You said, okay, yes, your AI agents. I know gaming is a massive industry, so I know that gaming has definitely been one to adopt AI agents quite quickly compared to say some of the other industries. He just said at the end there that you're going to have other AI agents. Can you give us an example for the community? What does that mean?
Yeah, so I mean, we're starting off more in the gaming sphere. So the current one that we just demoed there, that's a personalized coach. So that's there to upskill you and give you prompts like go here, go there, duck, fire the bomb now, and this is a safe place to hang out. whatever it may be from her. And that's what the first one that we're building out is probably one of the most challenging things that is happening in the AI space, because this is real time. Reasons why we're able to achieve this is because we've built out live streaming technology. We're the first ones to do it in virtual reality, and we had a lot of latency issues. So once we'd figured that out and got that live, that's why we are from 12 seconds latency, which is impossible in a game, and we're around about half a second, which is like real time. So we was able to achieve this, and we're just so excited. We're a couple of weeks away, and we've had over the weekend professionals test it out, give us their feedback. We go into the next testing cycle with their comments, and
Mhm.
at some time this week we go into closed beta, then we launch. The other projects is what you was asking us on the AI. So we're keeping it within gaming to start off with, and it's like it could be news about what's happening in the industry. Where do I find the competition, the quests? How do I find gaming companions? So it's like a whole gaming hub. That's what.
But so when you say that, I want to be able to understand the way that I understand in the say business application that I have to instruct all these agents, right? Okay, so like say if I want an agent that needs to do a particular task, whatever it may be, okay, like reply to messages, send emails, whatever, and then I'm going to break it down. So would it be the same thing, but just in the gaming? So like each agent would be. So you would have a whole bunch of different agents doing different things for you within the game economy.
Oh, yes, what you do is you give it prompts. So you
Mm-hmm.
say do this or get advice. And then the agent, what it does is it addresses the surroundings that's there, your digital environment, it's addressing them. And from that, he would advise you, give it prompts. So that's essentially what it's doing.
Yeah,
Um,
it's following the prompts.
yes.
Yeah, so prompt engineering for just anybody that's listening and is diving more into AI, whether it's in gaming or whether it's in any other applications, the prompts is really, if you want to call it the code, it's the instructions, it's how it's going to know what it needs to do. So the more granular, the more precise that you get, and the better that you get at your prompting, the better outcome that you're going to have. And from what I've been learning is having agents, different agents just doing one kind of particular task, but then they obviously communicate with the other agents. It's better than having one agent doing a whole bunch of tasks, because you just give them their prompts and they're like, okay, this is like my one job to go and find competitors. Like that's their only job.
When you talk from that aspect, we call it swarm. So you got a swarm of agents. Okay.
Mhm.
Now with a swarm of agents, if you imagine hound dogs. So the hound dog, all the hound dogs have sniffed the blood, and they go and work in a pack to find the actual animal or whatever it is they're hounding, right? So they
Mhm.
are intelligently, the dogs are communicating with each other as a wolf pack, and they're doing that. And that's what a swarm of agents can do, which is really interesting in itself. And if you go to how would that work in a game, right? If that was, let's say, your next question, then in esports, you have a team, right? And like any team, it could be a football team. You know, you got your strikers, and they got to communicate. And so within an esports team, you can have a swarm of agents, right? And then they'll communicate with each other autonomously. And that's what the application is within esports, within my field. And that's how, but it can work in multiple, the same philosophy can work in multiple industries.
Mm. I think Sonia has a question.
To me,
Yeah.
Yes,
so
to you.
Like that to me. I don't know. I can't
I'm
answer
guilty. Okay. Well,
Actually,
deserve the question.
no,
No,
I asked for this reason. I initially joined this session because I was interested from a commercial software point of view, because I run commercial software. But as you talked and as you did the demo, I totally changed tack and I went, hang on, I've been trying to find out a way to take a really old 1980s text adventure game, a bit like Colossal Cave, and to redevelop it, modernize it into VR. And based on what you're talking about, it strikes me like I've got the old-fashioned way of doing it, using stuff, and I've already investigated all that. But it strikes me that potentially a swarm of AI agents may be a way to enable the development of a game if we've already got a fully developed script. And that's the basis of the question.
Indeed. I mean, where we are now is that there are builders out there that are making AI agents to build AI agents. So, so that's the type of place where we are. But if you were to take this task on yourself without having any development skills, then it's going to be extremely difficult.
No, we are a software development company.
Okay.
So we've got the skills, so don't worry about that.
No.
I've got teams.
That's absolutely fine. Then there's no issues as such. But it's a question of what would you want the agents to do, because you develop the software. Okay, so if you say it's just say it's a car you're building, so you have to have the chassis first, and then the agents will come in afterwards. So you have to have a really good foundation, and then they'll come in for the fine tuning. That's how I would see it.
Okay, that actually helps me a lot because that helps me understand the basis of where they fit. I didn't know if they were the basis of the you feed some of the script into it and then it does it, but it's the tuning.
When you say tuning, are you referring to like the prompts, like the engineering, like the prompt engineering? When you say tuning, is that what you're referring to, or what?
Task is that she wants to build out a game, and based on an old game and maybe modernize it. The question was, how would the agents come into that? So
Yeah.
what I'm saying is that the game still has to be built out as you out. When it comes to the agents, how does the agent layer interact? Can it help build it, or would it be part of the game? I think it'd be more interesting if it was part of the game, because then it becomes more personalized and more interactive from that.
Interactive. Good. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yes. So in terms of using agents inside of particular, say in your game or inside of the metaverse, can you give me a little bit of an example? So from what I heard when I was listening to this podcast, I can't remember the name. I think it was Colony or something. They're using these AI agents. And I remember that the AI agents, it would basically learn how you played. And then you would tell it, like, so when you weren't playing, it was playing for you. So it was out hunting and looking for the things and farming the NFTs and like doing stuff. So it was kind of like, even though you weren't playing, but it played this, like it learned from how to play from you. Like, so the more that you played with it, the more that it learned, but then it was kind of operating autonomously. So I guess my question is to you, how are these AI agents being used in SKOR Metaverse, and are they being used autonomously, or like can you kind of give us a bit more of a clearer example of how you guys are using them?
So we're using them as coaches. So if you're a professional footballer or you're a professional gamer or semi-professional even, you have a coach and he looks at how you're playing and improves the way you play, whether it's the sensitivity, your aim, your adjustments, and then real life scenarios. That's essentially what we're doing. It's like coaching, it's like upskilling. So he's not playing for you autonomously. We're keeping it that the player is still playing and is improving your playing skills.
The capabilities are there for autonomous interactions, but the first agent that we're building is specifically focused on first-person shooter games. And in order to optimize the precision for the agent itself, it's trained on a specific set of data that comes from either videos or other players playing the game or professionals actually doing the fundamentals that game requires. Now, we're not a game, and we understand that one agent will not be able to solve all of our problems for the other games we want to deploy on. We will have to create personalized frameworks and build from scratch every single time for any new gaming environment that we will be deploying on. So for this one specifically, the objective is super simple because this hasn't been done before. We want to provide an interface where players ideally will be playing on a usual basis. Whatever they do, they'll have an agent that will analyze their gameplay, take consideration from the fundamentals that it has learned already from the data that we have input, and then analyze what is something that the player could enhance. Is there a training model that he could do? Is it something better? Is it a very minute detail that we, while playing, miss out on? But it could make a really big difference when you're actually playing. So finding out those missed spots and helping them work on top of that, that's where I feel would be the most impactful focus for us.
Is that where the coach part comes in? So you're, if I'm understanding it, and because I always like to try to explain it in like really simple terms. So the AI agent is learning from the data of other players. So what a really good player is doing well, like, and then it's like, oh, okay, well, like that athlete, you know, eats bananas and eats fish and like they're amazing. So, okay, let's eat bananas. And I know that was a really bad analogy, but, you know, but like basically comes back and tells you and says, hey, mate, and that's where the coach aspect comes into it.
This is the right technique to do what you're trying to do.
Yeah. Like, so, because it's learning from the other players and oh, that's really quite cool because you can take that same framework and apply that concept, that coaching content to like athletes, like actually people that are like wanting to train. And I know in Australia, there's an athlete that was looking at how Olympian athletes, because she's an Olympic athlete and she's in Web3, Troy West, and you know, how you can learn from that data. Like, do you know what I mean? So you could apply that same kind of framework, which you guys are doing in the game, but apply that kind of coaching kind of framework to other different industries to help people kind of learn how to make improvements in whatever sector.
One of the biggest challenges with AI agents, it's not about figuring out the tech, it's about how does the agent understand the knowledge that it's being provided, and you have a quality set of data that is actually useful and not completely unrelated. So for us, why we started with CS2, because it was a tested environment. We had the data already available because we have in esports, we have networks across content creators as well. So for us, it was easier to grab onto the right data sets, which would help us at least put in the foundation. And how it's positioned that this will evolve over time. Right now, the agent is on a very, I would say, innovative layer, a very initial layer. Once this is figured out, we can add a lot of other layers of interaction and reward mechanisms on top of it, which I feel this is going to get evolved. This is going to evolve with time, and we'll figure out much further, much more complex capabilities moving forward from where we are today.
I mean, so you're saying the data set, so they're learning within your application, they're learning, the agents are learning. Sorry, are they learning within wherever you're deploying them? So if it's playing a game, it's learning that game. Because you guys said that you weren't a game.
So there are multiple data sets. One is when the agent is learning when the player is playing. That's like an active learning process that is going to be personalized depending on the user and their profile itself. Then other learning is where we train the models on the back end, and that's an entire update for all the agents that are out there. So they're basically following an industry norm or whatever we feel is the most up-to-date content or data set regarding the game at that time. It will be operating on those sets.
But I mean, are they playing your game, or do I get to have my own agent? And then like, I'm not a gamer, so maybe Sonia can help me out. But like, can I take my agent to Fortnite and wherever, and like it's teaching me, or is it only in your game? I guess is what I'm trying to.
It's not in our game. So as we said, the first game is CS2. So it's a game where there's already an audience base, there's already a user base. Our AI agent will be on top of that gaming environment. So down the line, as you mentioned,
partner with different games, and then they'll offer the ability to have your agent. So like different games will start adopting this, and then you're basically the technology that
you want to become the infrastructure layer to help traditional games and on-chain games as well to deploy AI agents and help users interact in whatever way possible that makes sense. Because every game is different, every gaming environment is different, every genre is different. So we will need to sort of find ways to make it more expansive. But I feel it's not going to be one agent that's going to work for all games. Rather, it's going to be personalized agents for specific gaming environments that are going to be much more effective and productive, which people and gamers are ideally looking for.
So what happens when players use the same AI agents? Will it result to the same or similar advices while it learns the tactics of the players as well? At the end of the day, it will suggest the best moves, so to speak, as she understands. So I think your question is, if you have an AI agent, they would be independent. You'd have a different AI agent for
Have
each
your
game.
own personal relationship with your agent. It's learning based on your activities. Yes, the fundamental data that it's trained on might be similar, but it will be adaptive and it will suggest you, I would say, insights based on what's best for your experience. So it wouldn't be like it'll be overlap something that everyone's seeing. It really depends on your personal experience.
Does it have a unique identifier? Like does my AI agent and is that on chain? So like is it kind of like do I have like
Every time, your previous history data is already saved. So it's not like you're starting fresh every time. If let's say you've already interacted with our agent for 15 days, you've played with it, you've gotten some initial drills that you're practicing, it will start from that point onwards rather than having a fresh, canvas to start with.
okay, and I'm gonna take this a little Web3 angle. What ownership do I own my agent? Is it like a NFT or is it how does that work?
So this is interesting where the main agent structure, we are going with a subscription model for the agent, but we are planning to introduce our NFT collection where we have 1,111 pieces where whoever is minting that NFT will ideally own their own agent. But they're
Mhm.
not specifically for gaming. Those agents are SocialFi agents. But we're experimenting, finding how NFTs, smart contracts, and how AI agents can all work together seamlessly. And
Mhm.
because we need to understand when we're building these agents, we need to make them as simplistic as possible for them to be applicable on those gaming environments. We cannot create another large set of app downloads for the user to even interact with the agent. We need to keep it simple, clean, so it's the best possible experience for them. But our goal is down the line to create a structure where it's directly connected to the smart contracts. And for them, it's a much more easier experience overall.
Yeah, well, I can't my Web3 in me can't help but to think, oh, well, why would I pay for an agent that's on a subscription model where I don't own the data of the agent, right? Like I wanna own my agent if I'm gonna train it. And then when I'm done with it and it's an amazing Fortnite player, then I can sell it.
That is the purpose.
Sonia
Yeah.
can buy it and she can be a really good player in Fortnite.
Absolutely.
But yeah,
At the moment, it's not on chain. You're saying is it on chain? It's currently is not on chain. With this is all off chain. So the first ones we could use the word are centralized agents, which is going to keep the cost really low. We're training these agents up. They're going to get better over time. Then we've got the NFTs that Ragaraj was discussing, which are decentralized and which have ownerships, but they got different applications because what we're building is a highly sophisticated model. It's not really being done in the way that we're doing it, you see,
okay.
being in real time. So we got a couple of different things, which is and also what you have to remember is that when we talk about the large games like Valorant or CS2, whatever they may be, the huge games, those audiences are Web 2. They're not really a Web 3 audience. The majority, like 90%, is Web 2. So we're going to miss out on a huge opportunity, which is 90% of the business.
Yeah.
Well, we're looking at it from that perspective. Now, how does it affect Web 3? If you bought the SKOR token, let's say, how would you benefit on a Web 2 gain? What actually happens is that, let's say the subscription is $20 and it's paid in USDT, that gets converted to SKOR tokens and part of that gets burnt. So there is a Web 3 element to it, even though the actual users may be Web 2 users, but
Yeah.
Web 3, we're looking at it from a different perspective, and that's how they're going to benefit.
Well, I think with the gaming sector, because I'm getting to know it quite well as I'm working with more gaming clients on our crypto world tour with our gaming edition. So I'm by no means an expert, but learning, and it is very much Web 2, and then they have the Web 3 side of it, and then like, or they're trying to, like, I was chatting to one other game where they're like, they want Web3 to be there, but only for the Web3 natives or the Web3 curious. So they don't want to like discourage, because so much of their user base is Web2, and some of the Web2 gaming industry, thinks that crypto is just full of meme coins and pump and dumps, which there's a lot of that. So you got to give them, so that they're trying to play this sweet spot between the Web2 and the Web3. So yeah, I totally see that, but like having that ability for that Web3 native, if they say, hey, like I want to own my agent, I think that would be super cool to be able to do.
Absolutely.
Mhm. But like, for example, the business application platform that I'm using, I'm using, it's a software platform. It's all the agents, and then I'm filling it full of prompts, and like, so that they're learning from the people that are using the platform to create these agents. And basically we're doing all of the work for them, like entering all the prompts, right? So
Take that time.
so yeah, so many solutions for implementing Web3. So I'm really looking forward to, and I know that this is not the topic today, but like AI and deep fakes and all the things that are happening with how fast AI is growing, how blockchain and Web3 is going to come into play with that kind of that ownership and that privacy as AI kind of develops. We're going to wrap up shortly. So I just want to give last opportunity for anybody that has any kind of burning questions around AI or in AI and gaming specifically. I know that this is a hot topic, and we could talk and go about many, many different verticals. And I know that Matt Huber, I know that you're also involved in the AI community. So maybe we'll have to do a few more AI events, because people seem to be quite interested in learning. But to wrap it up, what are some of the challenges, or like the kind of technical challenges that you're seeing, because you're in there and you're kind of building out these AI agents, that you're seeing to kind of feel for true intelligence and kind of useful, not only just in the gaming environment, but just in any types of environments? What are some of the challenges that you're seeing at the moment?
I mean, it starts from the data sets. That's the most important foundation. Without a good data set, then you're just going to be, exploiting the users. So, there's a big issue there. When you use the word intelligent, right, then you'll probably be making comparisons to, say, humans, right? And we're far away from that, because if you understand where we are today, we don't even understand our own brain. So we need to understand our own brain better before we can train an agent to be anything comparable to us. So we've still got a long way to go from there. How I see some of the challenges going forward, I mean, maybe I'll talk a bit more about the solutions. Look, every time I meet young guys, young kids that are of college age, and a lot of them are studying AI and IT, one advice I give them is to do another course in psychology, because that is going to be how we're going to get to understand the emotions, human behavior better, and then incorporate it into AI. So these are a few of the things that are yet to come. We're still at the innovation layer at the moment, so a lot of the challenges haven't hit us. Some of the challenges that will come will be the privacy and security, which, the longer that doesn't happen, the better, because it means there will probably have to be a massive event, like a deep fake, like you were saying,
Mhm.
That'll trigger off a whole new industry, or, you know. So these are a few of the challenges I see ahead.
Well, perfect. Thank you so much for sharing. I think that this is a topic, as I said, we could dive in and talk about for ages, because it's, it's so interesting. You talked about the data sets, and then where is that data coming from? And then, is it is it ethical data? So these are some of the challenges that I see. And I used to say to my students all the time, and I can see one or two of them are on the call. So hello to all of any of my past students. I used to say to them all the time, blockchain, the data, if it's, it can be on chain, but where did the data come from? You know what I mean? Is it trusted? Do we, is it ethical? So the same thing, kind of, where is the data coming from that we're training these AI sets on? So I think it's quite fascinating, and I'm excited to keep learning. And for anybody that is in gaming, definitely go and check out SKOR Metaverse and see what they're doing and applying it. But thank you so much for your time, Sanjay. It was lovely. Now, if anybody wants to learn a little bit more about what you're doing, your roadmap, the developments, because I know that you guys are kind of launching all that sort of stuff, where's the best place for them? Or if they want to get in contact with you about anything, where's the best place for them to reach out?
I mean, we have two platforms. We've got our metaverse platform, and we've got an agent platform. So we've got two different platforms depending on where their main interest is. But I would say the easiest place would be maybe to follow the socials. They'll be kept up to date. I'm on LinkedIn. That's where they'll find me. Ragaraj is on Discord, and Ranjit Twitter. We're kind of like spread out because that has its own challenges when you use the word social media. There's so many different places to go to. So the team is spread out in different areas. So you would be able to get an advice or a response.
Okay, so you said there's two platforms. There's the metaverse and the AI agents. Maybe somebody from your team can drop the links in the chat of the two different separate platforms, or do you just go to one website to access the two platforms?
So they're two separate platforms. They'll be interoperable a little bit later, but at the moment they're two separate platforms.
Well, thank you so much for your time. Thank you, everybody, for joining us online. The more engagement that we get from the community, the more excited we are to host these. Please remember to go and check the All Things Blockchain website. Just go to events for our upcoming events. Matt will be leading the next one in 2 weeks' time. And we've got our in real life event next month on the 4th. So once again, thank you, everyone, and enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you so much. Real pleasure to be here.